Hello everyone, it is TracyBun. This is going to be a very serious video. Very serious topics are going to be brought up, so I just want to jump straight into it. I'm not going to waste any of your time. First, I just want to put a few trigger warnings up on the screen real quick. This is going to go into talks of grooming. It's very explicit. I just want you to keep that in mind while you're watching this video. If you're not comfortable with these types of topics, or if they're triggering to you, please be aware of that. This video is going to be about an Identity 5 YouTuber named Dxctor. This person has not made any videos in a couple of years, but from what I know, they are still active, lurking in the community in the background, waiting for a chance to come back, which is why I want to make this video, to just make it known to the community that this person is a predator. Everything I'm going to say in this video is going to be backed up with evidence. Most of this is not going to be from me, it's going to be directly from the victim. I'm just going to be reading off what they said to me and that they've allowed me to share with everyone else. The victim's name will be blurred out just for their privacy. I urge you to watch this entire video before you form an opinion on this situation. This is the content creator's YouTube channel. I'll start with a little background. It started in early 2022. I was 16 at the time and I was struggling a lot in school and just in life in general. Basically, this person was a minor, they were 16, and they were in a very vulnerable place mentally. And this person ended up starting to watch Identity 5 streamers for some comfort, and eventually the doctor started doing these raffles so that fans could play with him directly. And this person ended up winning one of those raffles and was able to play with the doctor on Identity 5. So he ended up playing with this person, and conveniently he ended up losing the footage to just this person's gameplay so that he could not upload it, so they had to record another one. We had called again, just the two of us, and we had been in calls together before, but only in his general channel on his server. This was the second time they called one-on-one. I expected the call to end there, but he told me we can keep chatting if I'd like, and I agreed. And during this conversation, I confided in him about my mental health struggles, and he was really kind about it and told me to hear that his content was able to help someone. It made him incredibly happy. He told me I could come to him whenever things got bad, and I just needed someone to listen. I was a bit taken aback, as again we were acquaintances, but before this call we didn't talk like on a personal level at all. But I thanked him and told him to keep up the great work on his channel and such, and he was very appreciative and nice. I can't stress enough that he seemed like a genuine person at first. So we're still talking. This call was 4.5 hours long, just talking about Identity 5 and pieces of our life. And at this point it's about midnight for me, and even later for him, as we had a time difference, and he starts making suggestive jokes and stuff, and it doesn't bother me because I'm used to it. But then he would say stuff like, yeah, I don't sleep with anything, it gets too hot. And I would be like, oh, I don't think that's odd, it makes complete sense not to. But he took that as an invitation to be like, oh really, so like you don't wear anything to bed type of thing? And I gave him an honest answer, and he sounded shocked and started saying things like, wow, I didn't think you'd answer me. So he started pushing and talking about kinks and stuff. And again, I was taken aback because my brain was still processing that he asked to see a picture of me earlier. He was really weird about it too, asking if I ever wondered what he looked like, and I said not really, just because his looks don't change his content, but he kept bringing it up and said, let's do this, I'll show you a picture of me and you show me a picture of you, yeah? He sent me one and I did as well. We kept talking, and that's when we got back to kinks and such. He starts talking about things he's into and how he doesn't know how to find someone to do it with, and I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. And he's like, do you think we could try something together? Through the whole call, we were teasing each other in kind of a brother and sister way. I called him grandpa and stuff just to get under his skin, but he told me he could be whatever he needed him to be and to just help him so he can sleep well. And I was so confused, but I thought about what might happen if I didn't. So I did what he asked. He wanted me to send pictures and help talk him to completion, and we did, and after I felt really dirty. But he told me I did amazing and that he was sleepy, so he was gonna go to bed. These were the texts from the next day. For context, he was talking about the band, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Hello, I hope you woke up very well and that you listened to the song. They start talking about some of the lyrics in the song, and there's a lyric about a birthday suit, and he says, if you do, send pictures. Here is some more screenshots. He says, I mean, if you're that sorry, I can take some more pictures as an apology. And of course, you'll get yours as well because I'm a fair person. Did I help you sleep well last night? Absolutely you did, and I'd really appreciate it if you helped me again. My DMs are open whenever you're ready. I like it when you take pictures for me. He made me make a Twitter account where he was really weird about Discord, like he wanted zero traces of us doing that on here, which implies that he knew that this was wrong. He was trying to move the conversation to another platform so that he did not get caught. So he would like use Discord to talk normally, and the other for sending pictures and videos. And for a bit he made me feel like it was all alright because I was just helping him and making us both feel better. He had me wrapped around his finger, and in my head what he was telling me made sense at the time. At one point he made a video with a face reveal, and while we were texting, things just started to feel different. I watched the whole face reveal video as if I didn't know what was coming. You didn't get anything new, in fact you got more than that, congratulations. I don't want to get too into detail because it's gross, but the dynamic and kinks he was wanting to explore were very odd. There were obviously these times where he just wanted to do stuff so he could finish and go to sleep, but sometimes we would have conversations and I eventually opened up to him about how I've been struggling to eat. Yet he would constantly make comments about how small I was. He could tell me that he could fit both my wrists in one of his palms. Stuff like that is just so disgusting. And in a way it kind of fueled my eating disorder. He would comment on how easily my skin bruised, how I was always clean shaven. It all just started to feel like too much, and I slowly started to distance myself, and he wasn't having it. He would spam message me and make me explain myself, and I had such low respect for myself I couldn't tell him the truth, that he scared me. He would make up white lies about why I wouldn't be able to help tonight. During the time he did just want to talk, I wanted to get to know him as a person. Things being sexual every time was getting to me, and I told him that. So I asked about his username and why he chose a doctor, and he was like, oh, well, because I want to eventually be one. I went to school for it. So I asked what he was pursuing in the medical field, and he told me he wants to be a PN, a pediatric nurse. Someone who works with children every single day. I eventually broke down on call to him that I can't do it anymore. I couldn't put into words the sadness and anger I felt, so I just cried until he asked if I was done. He told me he couldn't take this seriously. All I could do is croak out a simple why, and he said, you do realize this was all for you, right? He continued and said, do you remember what you said the first time we called? You said someday you want to help me as much as I've helped you. And I just panicked. He convinced me that all of this was my fault, and I believed him. I apologized, told him I don't think I can talk to him anymore. He told me that I still need to show up for 2v8 customs later in the week, and that was it. And here is him still trying to keep in touch after the victim tried to cut him off. He just wished me well and told me he'll find someone else. No acknowledgement of our previous calls. He acted like nothing happened, and I think that's what broke me the most. I deactivated the accounts I made for him and just tried to forget. Recently saw that I was able to switch accounts on my Instagram, and I was extremely confused because the one I have now is the only one I've used since then. So I click on it and I see that account. They were actually able to sign in, and there was a message from the doctor. He asked how I was doing and hoped the message reaches me well. He told me he wants to talk about what happened between us because we both deserve closure, and he asked me to please let me make this right. He told me he hasn't made Identity 5 content in a long time, but he still keeps up with the community, that he was watching the summer tournament and he heard my voice. He wanted to reach out, say he's happy I get to be a part of the community still. The thought of him just lurking in the shadows, still keeping tabs on the community and me made me sick to my stomach. And even though it's been years, I felt myself getting transported back to when I was 16. In his text, I truly felt like he was insinuating making things right with me would give him the moral okay to come back as a content creator, maybe under a different alias or something, but I can't help but have a feeling that he wants to make a comeback, and I don't want to give him the opportunity to prey on anyone else. Once I saw his text, including how he was still here just not making content, how he acted like he actually cared if I was alright, how he said my close friend's name, talking about attorney we worked so hard for, I got sick. I deleted Instagram and made sure it was deactivated. Here's the screenshot confirming that the doctor was in his mid-20s, 24, 25. While this person was 16, he was aware of it, which is why he moved them to another platform to do most of this, so that he could not be implicated. He knew what he was doing was wrong. So I just wanted to get this information out there, just in case this person does try to come back into the community. All of you know, this person is a predator. This is probably a lot more serious than just in the Identity 5 community. Unfortunately, I don't know if there's anything we could do about him being a pediatrician. That really makes me feel uneasy knowing that, but if anyone personally knew the doctor, if anyone was in his close friends group, if anyone knows this person in real life, I don't know if you'd be able to file a report. It really makes me feel very uneasy that he works with children in real life. It makes me sick that there are just more and more people like this coming out of the community, almost like on a weekly basis at this point. It is really sickening. If anyone has had any personal interactions with this YouTuber and you'd like to come forward about it, please do. Even if you don't want to speak publicly on it, give that information to another content creator. It doesn't have to be me, it could be anybody, and it could be for any content creator. If somebody is harming you, please speak up about it. Tell somebody about it. Thank you for listening, and I will be sure to keep you updated if anything else comes out of this. But just don't let this person back into the community. Don't platform this person again if they try to come back. And let's try to keep the community as safe as we can.